Prepare yourself for a talk radio experience like no other.
Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Call Alex now, toll free, at 877-590-5525. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
Welcome, welcome, my friends, and thank you so much for joining us on this live June 28th, 2009 Sunday edition. Of course, I have the syndicated transmission Monday through Friday, blasting out on the AM and FM dial, global shortwave, satellite, #1 radio show on the internet, according to Shoutcast, Flycast, and many other gauges, and, of course, also simulcast, re-aired on XM radio. And here we are on the abbreviated Sunday transmission, 4 to 6 p.m. each and every Sunday, come rain or shine, I am here. Talk about rain or shine. In my car, it has a thermometer on the dash, I guess, from the windshield. Said it was 115 driving over here. Now, remember that that's obviously driving on the highway, and it's much hotter with the heat coming off the asphalt and the concrete. But they were saying it was like 105 the other day here in Austin. It's only 102. It's always nice, though, in these particular studios. These are nice studios, but the ACs always freeze up when it gets over 100. So everybody's basically got their shirts off here at the Emmis offices that we're syndicating out of in the studios of News Radio 590 KLBJ. I mean, Jaron Nyhard literally earlier is like has his shirt up. He's standing over by the fan. It's the opposite of a turtle sunning itself out on a log. He's like trying to cool off with the fan. He has his shirt literally hanging it over the fan, hanging over the board, because they have those old-fashioned tube boards and all these computers, and heat's just rising off of them. You can almost fry eggs on them. Right now I've got sweat just pouring down my sides of my shirt. I look like I'm a Russian bus driver or something in Moscow in the middle of summer. Well, no, you know why I say that? Because still in Eastern Europe and places in Western Europe, a lot of them don't have AC because it hardly ever gets hot there. But when it does get hot, look out, everybody. Well, like up in Chicago, every time it gets this hot in Chicago or Milwaukee, you hear about dozens of deaths a week. They're up there dying right now. I made a mistake of going for a jog at noon today. By the time I woke up and hung out with the kids and did some business, I looked up and I said, I got to do my daily run, and I got to go work tonight, even after the show, so I won't have time to jog. I better go do it right now. Big mistake. I got about a mile on this stuff, and let me tell you, so I feel a little bit of sun-kissed, as they say, so look out today. But I am dispensing with the pleasantries, ladies and gentlemen, to get into the very serious, grave news and information we're going to be covering throughout the next, now hour and 52 minutes today. First off, we'll take a lot of calls. The toll-free number is 877-590-5525, 877-590-5525, or locally in Central Texas. If you're listening to us in Central Texas, 836-0590. Okay, here's what's happening. Foreign offshore corporations that are bigger than most governments independently, but together they're bigger than any one government combined. Of the 100 biggest economies, 50 plus are now corporations, not governments. They have teamed up, lobbied governments worldwide to create international law that gives them unlimited power and the people absolutely no rights. And they're in the final phase right now of bankrupting the planet, according to their own IMF World Bank documents, by design, so that everyone will be bankrupt and owe their allegiance to the new Bank of the World, whose fiat currency and credit is protected and backed up by the U.S. military, British military, European military, NATO. And that's it. Very, very simple. They are now making their move, completely breaking the back of the U.S. Republic. The fall of the Republic is now happening. The death of the Republic. Republic's end. Republic's fall. The gallows for the United States is here. In fact, I can officially say that if they pass all the bills they've got introduced and then are able to implement them, officially the republic will be 100% dead, and we will be an official dictatorship of the bureaucracy and then the private corporations that own and control it. There is a total and complete carbon credit, carbon tax takeover happening. We'll break that down coming up. There is a complete, absolute banking dictatorship over it all, openly being announced, about to be passed in Congress. There is a complete, total takeover of every square inch of the United States. Same laws have already been passed in the rest of the world because the bankers run everything, where all land is owned by the federal government and thus given to private offshore corporate interests for collateral on the debt. Any below-ground water, all land has below ground. Feds can take your land, come on it without warrants, tax you, fine you, fee you. They've stolen most people's ranches and farms outside Austin in the mid-'90s under SOS, and then they give it to themselves, and it's a crime syndicate. It's this on a national setting. So the water takeover is happening right now with the Clean Water Restoration Act. Openly, mainstream news is announcing just absolute total federalism, every square inch everywhere, just hellish. Police state takeover is happening with expanded Patriot Acts, body scanners at all the airports scanning your naked body, TSA checkpoints popping up at train stations, bus stations, highways, total control, warrantless wiretapping everywhere, openly federalizing all the state police, mainstream news. Gun grabbing, more than 15 bills introduced to completely ban all guns. It allows the Attorney General to ban all guns at will. It's just dictatorial power. That's what all these bills do. The water bill, the banking bill, the carbon bill. It just says our bureaucracies can do whatever they want. Blank check. See, this is just, they've decided to just violate the whole Bill of Rights and Constitution. You put up with warrantless wiretapping, and so now you put up with torture. That was the trial balloon. And so they said, look, these idiots will buy anything we do. We can torture kids in front of their parents, and they say it's good. They like Jack Bauer. And they said, all right, drop the hammer on them. Take everything they got. Blow the country out. And they said, Sieg Heil, and launch the operation. You're getting conquered militarily and economically in a blitzkrieg of destruction right now. The next 3 months is the most important phase in this country's entire history since independence was won 233 years ago. So the gun grab takeover is happening now. The total, complete, open border takeover is happening right now. Complete, absolute, total amnesty has been introduced. The health care total, complete takeover where the government can have eugenics and control everything you do, all the treatment you get. Daschle wrote in his book, and the bills say they're going to ration care. They said the British model where you wait 18 months for a brain tumor to be removed, and it's fatal in almost every case. I've got Tony Blair on video in the House of Commons saying, yes, no brain tumor surgery for you. So total state control. We're going to break down the complete takeover. This is your heads up. This is the alarm being given. This is raising the alarm that we are being completely taken over. And as you know, people kept saying, Alex, they're not going to pass the global warming takeover bill. They're not going to pass the carbon tax. I had idiots when I made Endgame 2.5 years ago emailing me and calling me and saying there's no plan for a carbon tax. Is there a carbon tax now after you saw it pass? You people need to stop living in denial. You know, I was watching this morning a little bit of Downfall, which is from the diary of Hitler's secretary. Very accurate film. It's in German. And the denial in his bunker, even as the Russians were 200 yards away, pounding it with giant artillery, Eva Braun, his wife, was stumbling around saying that they were going to defeat the Russians in the U.S. That's what the American people are like. Just you won't admit you're losing everything. You won't admit you're being raped. You won't get angry because you don't believe in yourselves. Well, you better believe in yourselves because we're under assault, and we don't deserve to be slaves. We're not Hitler. But it's the same kind of moronic denial, or it's not your place to stand up. It's not your place to speak out. Yes, it is your place to speak out, and you better. And listen, if you want to hear about Michael Jackson, the scumbag, I'll talk about him briefly when we get back, and then I'm done talking about it. The only reason I'm going to talk about that freak, that ne'er-do-well drug addict, is because it's an example of modern mind control, and I'll tell you what I think of Michael Jackson when we get back, and then I'll get into real news, not the distraction. Stay with us.